I guess anyway. So what we started last week was actually we started talking about one of the svarim that the Chafetz Chaim wrote. It's called Hilchos of Shmiras Lashon, guarding our tongues. I need to be quiet, guys, please. Anyway, so over there he speaks if somebody constantly speaks lashon hara, most probably during his lifetime he's going to transgress 31 sins. 17 are negative commandments and 14 of positive commandments. So last thing that we learned previous week was the fact that the most famous pasuk that teaches us we can't speak lashon hara is the Torah says lo telech rachil be'amecha. Don't go around and tailbearing or whatever, tattletaling in your nation. And we said there's 4 levels in there. When I go, let's say, tell Levi, I'm going to go tell Shimon, Shimon, you know what Reuven said about you? So it concerns him. He did something bad or he said something bad. That's called rechilu, tailbearing. Second thing is if I go and say something bad about somebody that doesn't concern you, I go around and say, you know what, you saw Reuven, he was eating a cheeseburger. Nothing to do with you, I'm just making him look bad. That's Lashon Hara, even if it's true. What happens if I make up a lie? So that's worse than regular Lashon Hara. It's called slandering, Motzi Shemra. And then the worst thing is, sometimes somebody's name comes, something happens, I might speak Lashon Hara. But there's some people that actually make a business. Like every day they sit at a certain time, like we said, the old guys playing backgammon in the park, right? Know what happened? Neighborhood, what did your neighbor do? So every day they talk about it. That's called Mesaper Lashon Hara. Now this transgression, do not go tailbearing, is only for the speaker, the guy that speaks the Lashon Hara. Now we know that a person cannot listen to Lashon Hara either. Where do we learn that from? So let's go through it. There's another pasuk in the Torah which is in Parshat Mishpatim. It says Lo tisa shem hashav. Simply it means do not accept false report. The way you read it, Lo tisa, do not accept false reports. All you know that in the Torah there's no dots, there's no nekudot. So the Gemara says instead of reading Lotisa, read Lotasi. That means do not give over false report. That's the way we learn it. Now, what does this mean? And the Gemara brings 2 explanations. One explanation is that let's say if you and you have a fight, right? You both want to go to Beis Din and he's not there. You can't come and tell me your complaints about him if I'm a judge. I'm no judge. But you go to a judge, so you want to say your complaints about him. You can't when he's absent. Because you might say things, I don't know if it's true or not, and then he's not there to deny it, and if I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to believe you. So it has nothing to do with Lashon Hara. That's one explanation. The Gemara brings a second explanation. What does it mean, do not accept Lashon Hara? Do not accept false report. It means do not accept Lashon Hara. Don't listen. From here we learn the prohibition of not listening to Lashon Hara. The Gemara says because there's no dots in the Torah, it could say Lotasi. Don't give a false report either. So this one, if somebody speaks Lashon Hara, he's doing 2 sins. Where the Torah says, Lo telech rachil, don't go around, giving tailbearing. And then also, Lo tasi, do not give a false report. Now guys, let me ask you a question. Is Lashon Hara a lie? Or even if I say the truth is Lashon Hara? Even if you say the truth is Lashon Hara, right? So what does the Torah say? Don't accept false report. Even if it's a true report, you can't say it. Why is the Torah saying false report?
It's damaging. It's making their.
But it's not false.
To believe it. But it's making them look false.
False.
False also double punishment.
Makes them look bad. Okay, I know, but again, the issue is no matter what. False.
Instead of 1 then. Except for doing false, you get avera.
You don't get double. No, I mean it's all included in one avera. Please, guys, it's included in the same avera. I don't think you can get it. It's worse, but it's included in the same avera. So what happens is Chafetz Chaim gives 2 reasons. We're going to go through the practical reason first. You see, guys, when I speak Lashon Hara, right? You're not around. I'm going to do this guy say bad about you. Because you're not there, I want to make it exciting. How do you make Lashon Hara seem to be a lot worse? You put in a couple false words in there. If you just say the truth, so it did it. No, not so bad. But if you're going to come and make it spicy, you put some lies in there, then the Lashon Hara seems to be a lot bigger. So the Chafetz Chaim says the Torah is teaching us a lesson. Usually when people speak Lashon Hara, they add a couple false things in there too. That's why it says Lotisa Shem Hashav. You should know that there's probably some false things in there when you're listening. Another explanation that he gives is, I think maybe that's what you meant, because the listener doesn't know if saying the truth or not. To me, it might be a lie, because I don't know if it's true or not. The speaker knows if he's saying the truth or not. So far we learned that if somebody speaks Lashon Hara, he does 2 sins. Sin number one, lo telech rachil. Second one, lo tasi, do not give a false report. And the listener actually is going to do one sin only. Do not accept false report. So far clear? Let's go through the third one. This is the third commandment that we might go against. So let's go through that. We're going to, the Torah talks about Miriam. It says you should remember what God did to Miriam, right? When he spoke Lashon hara against her brother. Correct? You know the story, what happened? Moshe Rabbeinu divorces his wife or gets separate from his wife. It's like a very interesting story. The story is that, the way the Medrash makes a whole drama out of it. All the ladies in those days used to put on makeup for their husbands, obviously. Unlike today, that they put it for the world. So they used to put makeup for the husband, and then what happens is the only woman in the world that amongst the Jews that didn't put on makeup was none other than Moshe Rabbeinu's wife. Sipporah didn't put on any makeup. So now obviously Miriam cares about Sipporah, Miriam cares about Moshe Rabbeinu. He says, why are you so different than anybody else? Why don't you put on makeup? So she didn't want to say, I don't have a husband, because Moshe Rabbeinu, once he became a prophet, he had to speak to God 24/7. He can't have a marital life because he has to be 24 hours ready to speak to God. So he decided to be separate from his wife. Fine. But Sipporah doesn't want to say anything. He says, you know what? My husband is so holy. He doesn't care about looks. And it's true. Moshe didn't care about looks. But that was not the reason why she doesn't put on her makeup, because she had no husband. Until one day, what happens is, please, no comments. No unwanted comments. I didn't even hear what you said, but from the way you smiled, I realized you're saying something which is a little bit, I don't know, questionable. So let's be quiet. All right? No, let's be quiet. Okay, let's be mature. Because Moshe Rabbeinu divorced her. Who should she put on makeup for? For strangers?
Yeah.
No, in Judaism, you put it for your husband. You don't put it for strangers. Again, honestly, your wife is supposed to be attractive to you, but not attracting the whole world. And I'm being very serious. I pity a guy that wants his wife to be looked by everybody, because then you have a bunch of hara on your wife. You want to be smart.
But what if you want her to look good for you, but then it's good in other people's eyes?
Again, but as long as the intention is for you, it's fine. But I have a question. When do the wives look better? When the husband comes home and they go to bar mitzvah.
Oh, it's facts. It's facts.
All right, so they should actually look good when the husband comes home. You actually teach the girls, don't smell from the food when the husband comes home. You tell the boys, it's good for you in the future, not right now. Call your wife half an hour earlier, I'm coming home. So she has time to go wash the face, put some perfume, put on a normal dress, that you will be attracted to your wife. So let's just get distracted from that, because Baruch Hashem, your main concern is learning all these things. But anyways, I see you guys are very interested in these things. The time will come, you learn it, don't worry about it. But anyways, going a little bit further, until, Eldad and Medad became prophets. And then Miriam says, oh my gosh, how lucky are the wives of these people. They became prophets. What did Sipporah say? Oy vey, I feel bad for these ladies that her husbands became prophets. Miriam says, why? She says, because from the day that my husband became a prophet, he got separated from me. So then Miriam realized what in the world is going on, and he said, what's going on? Does Moshe think he's holier than us? We are prophets too. Aaron is a prophet. Miriam is a prophet. We didn't separate from our spouses. Why does Moshe make himself so holy? So she made a mistake. She put herself equal to Moshe Rabbeinu, even though she didn't mean anything bad. But the truth is, she was no equal to Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe spoke to God 24/7. Other prophets didn't speak 24/7. Anyway, so the Torah says, Hishamer lecha, be very careful, benegat sarat, lishmur meod, be very careful not to get sarat. What's the punishment of speaking Lashon hara? You get sarat. What does the Torah mean? Be very careful not to get sarat. So the Medrash says, do not speak Lashon hara. Exactly, wonderful.
You can't get sarat, right?
You don't get, but the sin is, you know why we don't get sarat? Because only high-level people get sarat, because their souls were clean. When they spoke Lashon hara, the stain showed up.
It affected them very much.
But if you have a dirty shirt with 20 spots, black spots, put another spot, doesn't show. Because we're in such a low state spiritually, so we're all stained anyways, you know what I'm saying? Our souls. So another Lashon hara doesn't make a difference. Doesn't show. And that's the reason why I came on the skin, because the skin is external.
Didn't they go from their house?
Yeah, I'm saying once it hit the body, it comes on the skin. It shows it's something external, but internally they're pure. In our generation, we need a lot of internal purification too. But at any rate, when somebody speaks Lashon hara, so far does 3 averot. Lo telech rachil, don't go tail bearing. Lo tasi, don't give a false report. And also be very careful not to speak Lashon hara, so you shouldn't get sarat. I think I spoke more than enough. Thank you for listening, everybody. Please be in your seats. We're going to visit you. And I think I have to find more people right now. Awesome. Guys, I didn't bring plates. I'm sorry. Yes, take it back, take it back. Let's go, guys. Pass.
Ask me one.
Pass. Take it. There's enough. There's one next.
Put it down right here. Put it right here.
Hey, no, please. Do not go outside. Thank you.
Better. Don't hold it.
Thank you, guys. Bring something, please.
Put it in the plate. Are there any fries? Yes, sir. Oh, these fries actually look so.
I can't touch it.
You gotta chill out.
You did good.
Ask him. He has like 5. Bro,
He needs one.
No, he didn't get it. That's it.
My wife is not. She's ready. She's born in Bnei Brak. My wife is the Buskila. So it might be relatives.
Better than the rabbis here.
No, don't say that.
No, I'm not saying it's better to say, but like Rabbi Schoolberger makes sure that he says the same Dvar Torahs each year. And I told them all in 9th grade. So he makes sure that the 9th graders get to hear the same Dvar Torahs that everyone else hears, so it's always the same thing.
Oh, I see. You get bored of it.
No, it's not that I get bored, it's just that I've already told everyone at home about the Dvar Torah. So here I get Dvar Torahs. And I say these at home and they're much good.